Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at Zonos Labs. Now, Zonos Labs is a pretty well-known EU bot, and I think this really is going to come up within the next few months. I think this bot has a lot to offer, and for the price, it's a must-have EU bot. Now, this is for a few reasons. First of all, I think it's very cheap. I think you can make your money back with this bot extremely easily, and I think it will go up in value. So I think that's one of the main reasons why you should buy it, and also it has an incredible site list. Now, I'm going to go more detail into this, but yeah, let's start with just looking at the bot and how to use it. So as you can see, this is a CLI bot, meaning it does not have the GUI graphic interface where you can click and set up everything. However, it is still super simple to use, so don't get too scared or whatever, because honestly, it's very user-friendly. All you do, instead of using numbers to go around like in Ganesh, for example, you use your arrow keys. So as you can see here, the little question mark, you can go up and down here, and then select which site you want to run. So let's say we wanted to generate some accounts, you press enter, and then we can generate some accounts for these, but let's go back and press enter, and there you go. That's pretty much the gist of it. You can see if you want to run tasks for Offspring, one of the main sites within the bot, press enter, and here you can choose between normal mode or shock drop mode, where in shock drop mode, if I press 2, you can then input a PID, or in normal mode, it will just run whatever's in your CSV. Now, I'm a big fan of CLI. When you're running a lot of tasks, it makes it a lot easier to see. And I sometimes think within GUI, you don't get to see everything that's happening. And it can sometimes be too much, but when running lots of tasks, this allows you to really see everything. So they each have their advantages and disadvantages, but personally, I'm a CLI fan. Although Zonos has a pretty long site list, it's mainly known for its Offspring and Office success. And honestly, you can see this. They've posted the numbers, they've got the global success within the Discord, and they do really well. The bot worth is very interesting because it's around the £400 to £500 mark, which is, I believe, quite affordable for a bot like this, because you can make your money back through using it fairly easily. A lot of the more expensive bots that cost upwards of £1,000, a lot of the time you buy them, especially in the UK where we don't have stuff like foot sites, you buy them, you'll only make £1,000, £1,500 back from them, and then you sell them again normally for a profit. With the mid-range bots like this, where it's around £400, £500, £600 sometimes, I don't feel like you need to do that. I think you can make your money back using the bot itself. Now, whether that's in a good month or over a few months, I think that is definitely very possible, and then you can sell the bot at the end of it and end up with a good chunk of money back in your bank account. Or obviously you can keep the bot, and I feel like this is at a stage right now where it's going to appreciate. Again, it has active developers. I managed to get a weekly key, and I've had this bot for 3 days so far, and there's been 2 or 3 updates. So as you can see, it gets updated regularly, and what I love about it is they suit for demand. So as you can see here, mostly it's sneaker websites, right? 43 𝙎𝙋𝙊𝙍𝙎, you've got Orlab, BSTN, Korea, but then sites like Crocs, which aren't as common, and as well as Disney. They also had John Lewis and Argos. These sites that aren't really sneaker related, but more general flips and profit. And that's what you love to see. They're getting the right sites for their users so you can make the most amount of money. And I think that's a big thing, because this bot wants you to profit. Some bots are almost seen as an investment, something you can hold and then make money. This is something you will make money with using it, as well as selling it in the future. And that's something I can really appreciate from a product. Offspring is probably their most successful website. They do really well on that. And I've seen firsthand how well they did on the recent dunk drops. Now, unfortunately, using Zonos, I was not personally able to cop. Now, I don't think this was due to the bot. I believe this was due to my bad proxies. However, really shouldn't talk about that. That was just me being absolutely stupid. But a lot of people did cop. I want to jump into the actual config files behind the bot. So this is what you're seeing if you download the bot and chuck it in. Now, you can see there's a few sites here that weren't actually on the list, like John Lewis and, as I said, Argos, which are sites that they kind of put active when you need to access them. They also have, in beta testing at the moment, Foot Locker New Region and Old Region, which I think will be huge. I think when they drop them, if they are successful, I think this Zonos will go from a £500 bot to potentially a £700, £800, even £900 bot, depending on success, because new regions, there's a lot of potential success there, and we've seen how well bots can really do out of that. So this is in the Offspring CSV. So this is where you would make your tasks in a GUI, where you would put in the sizes and put in the link. This is the same thing. So you can either choose URL or PID. If you want to run random sizing, you have to have a link and not the PID. So that's what I've done here. Now this is just a random blazer low. Don't know where you want to copy this. I'm just going to use this as an example. Payment method with Offspring, you really want to use PayPal, PP. And if you wanted to use a credit card, for example, on a different task, so on a different website, it would be CC instead. However, Offspring, rule of thumb, always go PayPal. Reduces, cancels, and also bots just generally support it. But also a bit of a weird payment processor, so PayPal is highly recommended. Force capture, this can force whether you have a capture or not. If you set it to false, if there's a capture, it will just solve it. Normally stick to whatever they say. They'll advise these settings within the Discord. And then profile, this is one of the coolest features that I'm just about to get onto. You can basically have profiles within. I know Flare does this as well. I'm not too sure on other bots. I think Phasma as well. But I love this feature, and I think they do it really, really well. And then you have delay and discount code, pretty standard features. Now you might be looking at this and saying it's just a bit standard, it's a bit normal, it's got everything else every other bot has. But one of its main thing is success. It gets the shoots with honestly not many users. It's not the biggest bot. It doesn't have the most copies out there in the market. But it really does get success. So I think that shows really how good it is. The fact that there's really not too many copies and they get good amounts of success. So if you've got the bot and you go to your data file, this is where kind of the config is and all the profiles as well. Now you can set a custom checkout sound, which I think is really cool. The default one is playing right now. But there you go. You can really set that to whatever you want to be, and you can just change the name. Now, I'm going to open up the profiles tab, and a lot will be blurred, but I'm just going to try and show you what's in there. So as you can see, the screen is blurred, and the thing I love about these profiles is you can have a custom Discord webhook per profile. So if you're going to run slots for someone, you could have their own Discord webhook, which is perfect because a lot of the time you're doing PayPal checkouts, so you want them to be able to access their own. And as well, if you're running for yourself, this just makes it very, very easy. And I think this is sick. Now, making profiles may look complicated. However, it isn't actually that hard. They do also have a profile creator that can do this all for you. Again, super simple. I love to see this. A lot of big bots, if they're CLI, don't have stuff like this. And being a smaller bot, they do have stuff like this, which I really appreciate. They've actually thought about their user base and makes it a lot easier to use. Because CLI can be a bit intimidating to people, but this just makes it a lot easier. In the settings, Jason, you can see you have key, version, and then capture. Here, you can put in 2cap to run 2cap. Here, you can also put in autosolve to run AYCD autosolve. And then you can put in just cap monster if you wanted to run cap monster. No anti-capture. Fun fact. Don't know why that isn't in there. You also have quick tasks down here and the version which changes when you get updates. The bot definitely kind of revolves around what the users want and what's releasing in the UK and EU. And that makes it very good to actually use. I've just had bots before that have really been investments. Prism, that was one of the biggest ones. However, this is a bot that if I bought, it would feel as if it was an investment because I would know it would go up. But I would also feel that it's catered around me, the user. They're adding the sites that I want. They're improving the sites that I want to use and actually get pairs from. And I can appreciate that as a user. It feels like a bot that's right for you. Someone who lives in the UK, it actually feels like a bot that you could use for a long time and pretty much does every site you can think of. Now, if you did want to get this bot, I really would recommend getting a reshipper. Now, whether that was a reshipper in the UK to ship to a country in the EU like Germany, or you are in the UK like me, you want to reship it in Germany or maybe France, because there's EU sites here that you want access to. Stuff like Snipes, 43 𝙎𝙬𝙍𝙎, BSTN, although I don't think that's working at the moment. You really want access to these types of sites because it opens up where you can cop from massively, and that's a big advantage. I think this has a strong site list. I know not all of these are actually active in the GUI. However, it gives you a good idea of what has been running before and what sites there are on offer. Now, Offspring are known for randomly shock dropping shoes, and this is perfectly suited to it. This is one of the best things about Zonos. If I use the arrow keys to navigate down here and I go to Offspring, it's opened up a capture because I'm running manual harvester, not 2 capture. And as you can see, I can select the mode. Now, if I press 1 and press enter, that will start normal mode. And this will just run whatever's in my CSV. However, I can press 2 and go to shock drop. Now, this is a mode that's recommended a lot of the time to just have open in general. Because if something drops, what you can do, so let's say this was a hype shoe and just randomly dropped, I could copy this link or even the PID, and I could just paste that into here, press enter, and the bot will do its thing and send webhooks. Now, I'm going to close that because I don't want to do that, but that gives you an idea of what you can do. I feel like it's a very accessible bot. It's very easy for me to recommend, and it feels so easy. It does a lot of the sites you want. It's got the good stuff. If you want to try it out, you can try and get one of their weekly keys. It's very accessible, and it's so easy for me to recommend. If you're in the EU or UK, you have £400, £500 to spend on a bot, you want to make that money back, you want to get into reselling. This is a bot that can give you discount on proxies. This is such an easy first bot to recommend, or even not first bot, it's a mid-range bot. It's almost too easy to recommend. I've always looked at it on paper and I've always wanted to go, is it as good as it seems? Because I see them with good success and these staff that are very active within the community. And I think to say, it's just one of the easiest bots to recommend to people. If you want to get into reselling, if you're already reselling, if you want a good EU bot that can do lots of sites and you don't want to buy Flare, you don't want to buy Ganesh, you don't want to buy one of the top bots, this is a great mid-range place to start. And even to go, if you're intermediate, I'm not the best, but I feel like I can use this pretty well. Even if you don't have a reshipper, you're pretty much good in the UK. Although a reshipper I really would recommend if you wanted to run this bot. It feels like an all-round good choice, and I don't think there's really much any more to say than that. So to round up the video, Zonos is definitely the bot that I'll be recommending to anyone who wants to start EU botting or wants to get any EU bot in general. It's got a mid-range price and does well, and I think that's really it. It's not too expensive and it does well, and I think that's exactly what people want in a bot. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video or you think any bot for the price is better than Zonos, drop it in the description and I'll be sure to answer any questions. If you enjoyed, be sure to like the video and subscribe.